Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to part 3 of the LOTRO Marathon. So, here we are back still in the Hall of the Moon at the top of Minas Morgul. And we shall try again to leave the shade of Isildur in the company, to enjoy the company of his own bones, while we have another go. Yep. Okay, and Kulong's gonna hear something, right? Let's go see what that is.
The sooner his evil is gone from this world, the better.
Oh, hang on. Yep, you were hearing something. Prepare yourself to do nothing, Wigend. Prepare yourself to just stand here for no reason. Like right now, we could go rescue him. Hey, Anath. Welcome. Glad to have you here. They can't reach you. Even now, you could just walk this way. That guy's an even bigger wimp than that guy. Seriously, they're not even like normal mobs. Okay, so like in theory, I'm supposed to appreciate the fact that he's yeah, Raulik. So, one really fun thing, and this isn't a spoiler, like you'll actually appreciate it more if you know about this in advance. But if you remember from the trailer, there are those two orcs who are like collecting rings for Mordor, remember? By the way, that's almost their entire presence in the films, that scene from the trailers. But you discover in the credits afterwards that the two orcs who are talking about the rings are being voiced by Billy Boyd and Dominic Monaghan, which is just like a little cameo by them. Which was fun. Again, I would have liked to know that beforehand so that I could have listened and try to figure out like who was who. But anyway, that was fun. Yeah, it was a cool thing. Okay. Right. Yeah. I'll go and I'll protect him, or wait, I'm supposed to be his prisoner or something. Okay. Well, only because I'm not standing here to fight with him. So there we go. All right. Right, so I'm guarding Lurk after you just said I was his prisoner, but now I'm his bodyguard. Okay. He looks dead to me. A thoughtful diagnosis made by Lurk the Orc. All right. Okay, Lark, I'll just go up ahead of you and fight them all. How about that? Okay, I see we're coming along behind me. Oh, we went the other way? Oh, come on, Lark. Don't play that game. I think I got it. hope there are some lurking in this room. Because now we've come to the same... Oh, phew. There is one. Phew. Now is my chance to overpower Lurk. I could have overpowered Lurk at any time. But how could I haul it away? Truly the question to be asked. Yes, Mr. Add to the boss fight, who's not even a challenge. Okay. Now you can defend the tower, which it was ridiculous to ascend. Sorry, I'll stop complaining. I'll stop complaining. Yeah. It's interesting because this is... It's one of those elements of video game storytelling where, you know, it's a really delicate line to walk. Like, I really do appreciate that. Like, I do understand that to walk the line carefully, where on the one hand, you know, you have a... you have a line you want people to follow, but how do you? We're just going to let him mess with the bones of Isildur? Yeah, that's what I've been wanting to do all along. Yeah. It's hard, as I say. It's challenging. I am alone. You came to this tower with allies? Well, an ally. But they have abandoned you. No, we just... Never mind. Your rangers may find success in the woods, but in towers of stone they die the same as any others. They cannot save you. The Thundrim crossed me long ago, and they are all dead. The only man who remembered them will have no vengeance. I gave him death instead, and none will wield his sad sword or bear his broken shield. And Karazgar? Long have I thought to test my might against the Weeping Warrior, but he is a sneaking coward. When I have secured my position here, he will be the next to fall, but of this I am now convinced. He is no friend to you. Perhaps he and I will strike a bargain, for we each may have information to use of use to the other. Do you dare test your will against Ugrakor? Yeah, I've been daring, like, I'm just waiting, man. Did I say we were equal? I see now I was wrong. You are no equal of mine. Okay. Inspiration flows through my body. Okay. Does it? Where are you going? I have drawn blood? Yes. That's what normally happens. Okay. So, but know this. Oh. Oh! Come on, man. Okay. I was surprised by that. Yes, I agree. As final words go, I've heard better too. Hey, Earnur totally stole us right there. Gulong, are you still alive? That's right. Let's figure this out. Okay, so we've got the Ugrakor here. Shade of Isildur still looking on somewhat disconsolately.
Have you escaped serious injury?
Totally did.
Was not so fortunate.
Very true. He has achieved the vengeance he sought, though it arrived not in the manner he sought. Let him rest now, and may the Thundrim for whom he grieved find peace with the death of Ugrakor. And so the captain of the pit is undone by the sword of Anoth, wielded by Gothmog, and now both Ugrakor and Gothmog are undone. Is that not the nature of evil? Treacherous even to its own. None shall mourn for either of the slain.
By the tree of Gondor, Gothmog
I figured. Is it not said that dying men rarely speak falsely with their last breath? Yes, but is that also true of wraiths? Oh, man, Gothmog gets a whole other scene. He is like the king of death soliloquies. No one endured what I endured, not Ugrachor, not Dulgabeth. Dulgabeth, that was the mouth of Sauron, right? Not the pestilential queen of Agarnaith, a curse on them all. I levy my worst upon Isildur, who could have prevented it and did not. He calls me coward, he knows nothing of the torments that made me. From the crucible of evil I was born anew, the greatest captain of Angmar I was to usher in a new age. If it weren't for you kids and your dog. The fire in Gothmog's eyes flickers and burns low. Why could I not, Wigend? There were so many chances, but the ranger and the elf maid. Gothmog stares at the floor, his life's essence departing. Narmeleth. I think Narmeleth knew the same torments as I. How could she fight longer than... He falls silent, and it seems as if he will speak no more. But this is Gothmog. You know, this is Mordorith, so he will always speak more. As you are about to turn and leave, he reaches out to you, a trinket held in his clenched fist. Listen to me. There was a Morgul slave who knew the secrets of this place. At my master's command, he forged a key. Only this weapon cannot be overcome, the dwarf said to me. I spent the time I could seeking it, but it eluded me. I give it to you, Wigand. If Mordor cannot be mine, let it be no one's. Find this weapon and use it against all who seek to master the realm that was denied me. Okay. A broken key into my hand and dies at last. Oh, sure. You expect me to believe that? It's like the third time we've killed this dude. What do you think, dead guy?
With his last breath, he raged against Gondor and shamed his people.
Well, he was raging really against his rivals in Mordor. Kind of wasn't fixated on Gondor, actually. He did not repent of his evil misdeeds. He claimed to regret nothing. His words speak falsely to me. It is clear he felt regret only at his failure to fulfill Sauron's commands and achieve the victory of Mordor. Victory over Mordor, again. Really, just not to quibble with you, Shade of Isildur, but... He should have resisted and died as Earnur. My brother Anarion would have fought the torments of the Lord of the Nazgul and embraced death rather than succumb to such evil. So too would I. But instead he became a tool for evil and he dies as Gothmog. Let him rot where he lies. I do not want my bones to remain here any longer. Pick up the casket of dust and bring it from the tower. Okay, I gotta carry it to Rivendell. You should leave the tower and meet up with Eorzen on the uppermost tier of the city. Hey, Kulang, you're much better now, right? Where are you going?
We should leave the tower and meet up with Eorzen.
Yeah, I remember where the meeting place was. Okay. All right. I just thought you'd, like, come with me or something, but it's fine. You probably will. Yeah, he said, well, he just rubbed some dirt on it or something. Oh, look at that. Here we are. Oh. Back to laggy. Do you think the flickering lights make it lag? There's no sign of Eorzen. Oh, perhaps he's... Yeah, oh, I'm sure he just went back to Ekaduial. That's almost undoubtedly it. He's totally not gone for good. He definitely didn't do a bunk with that mask. Eorzen the absentee? So, good news and bad news, Gandalf.
You have returned, presumably in victory?
There's something cocky about the phrase, presumably in victory. Tell me what transpired at Barad Kuran, Wigand. You briefly relate the events within the tower to Mithrandir, and the wizard nods with understanding at the death of Anoth. That is all too often the result of a vengeful heart, my friend. It did not take a wizard's sight to see that Anoth might not walk back down that road. But what of Ugrakor and Gothmog? And did Eorzen prove able in the battle? Our Kundalar friend has not entered the tale since you passed beyond the Guardian at the entrance of the tower. You conclude the story and tell Mithrandir that Eorzen did not meet you at the place you arranged. I have not seen him here either. Perhaps Faramir or his scouts know something.
Eorzen? My scouts did see him, but they had no good tidings to relate.
Then I saw him moving eastward at great speed, bearing the mask of Karazgar about his person. He passed into Gorgoroth and has not been seen since. I spoke with Baragond. He believes that Eorzen will use the mask of Karazgar to rally men of the east to his banner, becoming once again the commander he wished to be. Did he say his star was on the rise? Perhaps so, and perhaps not. I should not envy Eorzen his position if the true Weeping Warrior should come seeking the Pretender. Yeah, I think, Phil, what that implies is that he was, like, wearing it on a lanyard around his chest, I think, like around his neck, and, or maybe he tied it, you know, like with a little bungee cord or something to his pack so that it could be seen about his person. But, you know.
Eorzen is gone beyond our reach for now.
His deception was not entirely unexpected to me, but I wished he might act otherwise. The price of his aid is clearer now, but I deem his help to be worthwhile all the same. I will take this casket containing the dust of Isildur's bones and arrange with King Alessar for a wagon to bring it north. Or I could just pop up there. It won't take a minute. I believe its arrival at Rivendell will at last fulfill Isildur's oath and grant him rest. I will also examine this broken key. If it truly unlocks the door to a weapon that cannot be overcome, we will need to treat it with care. Even at the end, Gothmog sought death and despair for his enemies, and we must not forget that he counted us in that group. This broken key could be one last trap, one final act of vengeance against those who served him his ultimate defeat. Yeah. Sell me another one. I have exhausted my study of the Black Book. Voan has told us what he can, and it is with a measure of sorrow that I close it for good. I will turn my attention now to this broken key and Gothmog's final words, but you should take a moment to rest and recover your strength. Much of the evil within Minas Morgul has been opposed this day and defeated. For that you should celebrate. The epilogue will become available. Right.
I see the matter of the broken key has captured your interest.
So this is the epilogue. Okay. I have studied it closely, but that examination revealed no distinguishing marks upon its surface and no clue to its origin. I have a clue. It was made by a dwarf. How about that, see? The top of the key appears to have been broken off, but several teeth remain. Not enough to match the key with a particular lock, however, and unlikely to open it should we chance upon the correct one. Pity. I will give it back to you, with the hope that you may find someone who knows about this key or others like it. Gandalf leans on his staff and looks away over the encampment. I have been thinking about Gothmog's words. He said he was given this key by a Morgul slave, and it would unlock a weapon that could not be overcome. I cannot imagine what this weapon might be, but we must not let it fall into the hands of evil. And there is another thing, Wigend. I get the sense that Gothmog himself did not know what this key might unlock. If he knew the location of such a weapon, would he not claim it at once? But he told you he searched in vain. There's something peculiar about all this. Good luck! Okay. Right. So, where do I pick up the next epic quest? The next epic quest is, the next epic quest is up in the north? Like, after Prince Durin thing? Yeah, Durin and Skarhald? Yeah. Right, according to the message I received when I turned level 125. What is the level of this quest, by the way? 128. Yikes. Yikes. Well, that reminds me. Okay. No problem. Oh yeah, no, I'm totally doing the epilogue. That counts. Totally counts as part of the epic quest. Okay, so my next quest is to find somebody. And no hints as to whom or where. Okay, hang on. Hang on, let's see. We know it was a dwarf. All right, I'm thinking. See, this kind of puzzle is always challenging because it's less like, can you figure out from clues that you've been more like, can you think like they do? So, it was a key made by a slave. The slave was a dwarf. Yeah, one of those things that makes sense when you know it. Okay. Well, even from a game mechanic standpoint, it appears to be nobody in the camp here. In which case,
Do you hear my plight?
let's look around the other camps. Oh, you want spoilers for the War of the Rohirrim? Helm takes refuge in Helm's Deep. Spoiler. I'm kidding. I'm not actually giving a spoiler. Like, it's, you know. Also, Wolf leads an army which captures Edoras. That's another spoiler for you. The Rohirrim go to war. Well, I wasn't going to give that away, Drow Snake, but yeah. Yeah. Oh, another spoiler. Helm punches Freyka like to death. Yeah. Yep. Sorry. Okay. I'm thinking for a second here. Not about spoilers. Okay. Yeah, I don't know where to find things about the key. Okay, yeah. So, I'm not keen to death. Go ahead and spoiler me on where I'm supposed to go. Because I got places to go and dwarves to assist. The entire epic is about the Black Book of Mordor. So do I have to go back to like the Yarnfast? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Back to Voen, where made by a dwarf. Except he called him a slave. Oh, we might have been a slave. Yeah. There were not enough hints given for that. Because there are lots of dwarf slaves, right? But of course, if Voen went with Earnur when he went to fight the Witch King, he would have been made a slave at that point. Okay, hang on a second. Let me see if I can remember how to get to Yarnfast. Because it's good for me to remember these things.
Let us
Okay.
hope you bring glad tidings, friend.
So let's go to Holtvies. I like playing the Stable Master Riddle game. Okay, so from here I can get to
Help us. There is always more to be done.
Scarhold. Well, that's pretty close. Okay. I remember this place. Yes. And now from here... Oh, look. It's Prince Durin. Hang on, Prince Durin. I will be back soon.
Greetings.
Yarnfast. Yes. Sigma says, fun tidbit about spoilers. I was watching a gaming stream where the streamer spoiled the ending of Bioshock, which at the time was 13 years old. Two viewers were outraged, genuinely. And they had somehow both avoided the main plot twist spoiler for 13 years and hadn't yet played the game. Yeah, it's kind of a... Oh, there you are. Hello, Kiriana. Okay, I found it. So... All right. Let's see. Now, as I recall, this place is annoying. We come in here and we go up there, right into the secret room. What the heck? There's a hole there? Okay. Didn't know there was a hole there. We'll try again. Where am I? Even. Okay, that is Yarnfast, in fact. I want to make sure I'm approaching the correct city. Okay. So I guess in a sense, telling you the things that I told you about the War of the Rohirrim is a little bit spoilerish in the sense that, yeah, I totally did not see that at all. It's a little bit spoilerish in the sense that it's not a given that they're going to like adhere to the text, right? Obviously, the joke I was making is that all the things I was saying were all the things that were all the things that are in the book. But yeah, not a given. But that was very interesting. Okay, hang on. What's going on up here, guys? Oh no, bite. It's doing that thing again. Hey, Nine. What's up? Still unslaked, huh? How do we get to that secret room? Yeah, fell off. I know. I was talking to somebody who was like, they were really faithful to the book, and I'm like, well, you mean they didn't change any of the like 2 things that are said in the text? Yes, that is true. That is true. They did not. Yeah, again, the whole challenge there, was not like sticking with what was in the text, but the way the fill in the blanks is done. Oh, I can't go in here? Okay. Okay, let's see. I'm trying to think of more like innocuous War of the Rohirrim spoilers. Oh yeah, how about this? Faileroff is fine. Like, my wife, who saw the movie with me, refers to Faileroff only as the hot cousin, unquote. So, there's another spoiler for you. Okay, so I thought that secret place would be the way to go, but it seems that I can't go there. So, let's see. I don't remember where's the place I'm supposed to go. It was like an apartment or something. I seem to remember it being on this upstairs level. Ah, maybe this is it. Khil's home. Yes, that's right. That's right. Khil's home. Okay, and this is where we found the... Okay. Right, back to where we found the book itself. Hey guys! Khil Tailspinner smiles a greeting at you as you approach. Hey man, you're still hanging out in the creepy room, huh? Did Gandalf bring the book back? Man, my interface is doing that thing where I try to click and it just moves me around.
What a surprise, my friend.
I did not expect to see you again, and because we are so close, I will forgive your unheralded intrusion into my home. Ah, just a jest. You are welcome here anytime. How goes the examination of the black book written by my thrice-great-grandfather Voan? Do not forget that it belongs to me, and if it proves valuable, I would welcome payment equivalent to its value. Khil gestures at the runes on the walls. When we first discovered this place, it frightened me, but I have found myself coming in here more and more often. Oh, no, yeah, that's not a bad sign at all. I find that the aura here calms and relaxes me. Oh, it's, You might want to see a doctor. It is not so for Lord Nan. He is still not happy about this chamber, but it is so old, and my claim to this home of my forebears is so clear that he dares not do anything about it. For that the Lord of the Iron Hills has my respect, and the stillness of my tongue. Many are the stories I might tell of him were it otherwise, true tales all, though he might not agree. So everyone is happy. What brings you here, Wigend? You show Khil the broken key, and he studies it carefully. Do you know something? I think I have seen this shape before. I cannot be certain, but yes, it is worth a try. It will take me some time to dig it out again, but if you go to one of the metal workers of Yarnfast, I will meet you once I find it. Wait for me by the forges on the lower level of Yarnfast. There you will find the best and the fastest of Yarnfast's metalworkers. Okay. All right. Down on the lower level, huh? But probably not quite so low as I went the first time I came in here. All right, let's see. Forge workers. If you were a forge worker, where would you be? Answer. At the forges. So this direction? Is this a pub? The Fox and the Pheasant? Okay. This appears to be a pub. That seems to be a bank. Wait, that was it? The bank? This is a... Nah. This is just a... Yeah. Just a vault. The crafting pub? This is the crafting pub? Oh, okay. There he is. Yeah. Fair enough. So pub, metalsmith, like pub and forge are the same within Yarn. That really makes perfect sense. Got it. Okay. Hi there, Yarnfast metalworker.
Yes, what can I do for you?
The metalworker looks at you with surprise. You mean you don't know? Oh, you're waiting for someone. Khil Tailspinner. This suddenly makes a great deal of sense. That Jelruka. When I was cleaning out my father's home, I chanced upon this mold in a small locked box. I thought little of these artifacts and put them away with the rest of the odds and ends. But look at this. Khil holds out a small casting mold with a hollow in the shape of a key. The broken key given to you by Gothmog rests comfortably within the indentation. Using this mold, the metalworkers here could fashion a duplicate of this key, and I warrant it will unlock the box I found, or I am no Jelruka. Give the mold and these instructions to this fine dwarf, and once the key is forged, I will meet you back in the hidden chamber. Okay.
This should not take long.
Great. Doing a great job, man. Yeah, I think Khil's proclivity for hanging out in the calming and altogether salutary ambiance of the secret room is not concerning at all, and he is unlikely to freak out and turn evil or anything. I have to wait for 5 minutes? Seriously. Okay. Well, I have a couple things, a little bit of maintenance to do here. First of all, there's that. Secondly, what does it look like? The same. I hate that. Okay. Looks identical to my current one, so I don't need to worry about equipping that cosmetically. Okay, we've got some traceries that I don't know what they are, but I will just take care of those. All right. I'm still good on XP. On my XP boosting. And I'm level 126. And what are we now? 128 still. Well, the good news is, even when I get to the level 130 quests, I'll still be less than 5 under, so that'll be fine. I can check out the gift shop. Yeah, go sightseeing in Yarnfast. I can do all kinds of things. We can do another giveaway. Let's do another giveaway. Let's do another giveaway. I can't believe they just make you stand here for 5 minutes. That's kind of crazy. So yes, let's do a giveaway. Let's do another collaboratory giveaway. Let's do it. Look at that. He's halfway through forging him. Like, I almost feel like you could actually forge a key in this much time. Especially since I don't know what he's beating with that hammer, but it's a mold. Right? I mean, like, whatever. It's all good. It's all good. Oh, yeah. Okay, yard furniture. Just in case I wanted to recreate the creepy ambiance of the spooky Black Book of Mordor room in the comfort of my own home. Which I'm sure would also turn out really well. What other deed did I complete? Oh, Black Book of Mordor. Okay. Well, there we go. There we go indeed. Okay, so let's see. I'm like looking at the wiki for a second here. So, in the epic quest line, I have so when we finish the epilogue, we'll be completely done with the Black Book of Mordor as planned. And then we're going to start the Legacy of Durin and the Trials of the Dwarves. So yes, my goal is to, that's in like 2 stages, right? There's the assembling an army stage and then the inside the mountain hold stage. My goal is to finish the first part, assembling an army. It's 4.5 chapters, like 4 chapters and an interlude. So it's fairly ambitious, but I think we can do it. Yeah, so like my goal is to get up through the Battle of Al-Zanul Bazaar. That's my goal. How much longer am I going today? Probably, I don't know, until midnight or so, Eastern time. So another 6-ish hours, something like that. I'm not much more than halfway done, I think. Okay, yarn-fast metalworker who is pounding a
Here you
molded
go.
key.
May this key unlock whatever it is you seek to unlock.
No problem. If the container be of Gelruka make, perhaps it is better for me to hope that this key will properly lock it away, and rid us of whatever madness Khil Tailspinner weaves now. Well, I hear you, man. Especially, you know, with whatever. We'll see. I'm sure the moment of truth is approaching as to whether or not we're going to wish he hadn't done that. Okay. So I got to come up here, and there's like the throne room over there again. So I go around the corner and over here. Okay, then up the stairs, over the table. There we go. Then let us see if it opens the box I found in the same place as the mold. I assumed the box belonged to my mother and contained her decorative jewels, but perhaps it is not so. I've set it on the table there. Okay, tiny locked box containing the ultimate weapon against other captains of Mordor, apparently. The key clicks in the lock. Inside the box you find a small shard of glass.
A shard of glass, no more than a hand's breadth in size. This is the treasure.
I do not know what I expected, Wigend, but I expected more than this. It seems quite ordinary. Why would anyone lock this away and then break the key? You told me you were acquainted with Gandalf the Wizard. Perhaps he will know what to make of this broken glass, if there is anything to make of it. I fear you will be wasting his time, but if you think he will not mind it, you should ask him anyway. Where is he gone? You tell Khil that Gandalf recently spent some time in the lands far to the south, but the wizard intended to journey north again alongside a wagon. He is likely to be at the Bjorning house by now. Really? That's your fearless calculation? Look for him at the Bjorning house. No problem. By way of Hultvis, I think. We can do this. Okay, let's see then. The stable. Which way was the stable master again from here? Whatever is the opposite direction of the way I'm going, no doubt. Okay, that's the stable, but that's not where the stable master is. The stable master's at other stable.
Our people survived, and our hardships made us strong.
Bjorninghus. Boom. Those really are very large beehives. Yeah, I've come to meet Leothred, except I'm not gonna. But if I'll get a little free XP, I don't mind. Okay. Here we go. Into Bjorn's house. There's Gandalf.
Did you learn anything about the broken key given to you by Gothmog?
The bones of Isildur have come part of the way, but I travelled ahead of the wagon to once again test Grimbeorn's hospitality. He is prone to grumbling, but the meals he serves are without compare on this side of the Misty Mountains. Did you learn anything about the broken key? You tell Gandalf what transpired in Yarnfast, and show him the glass shard you obtained from the locked box in Khil's home. He studies it closely. A broken piece of glass? This does not appear to be a weapon of any kind. Is it possible Gothmog's key might have unlocked more than one container? Unless... Gandalf holds the shard up to his eye and squints through it. The glass is cloudy, as if it contains something which obscures my vision. What, like dirt? It moves from side to side as I stare at it, almost like... Gandalf looks up suddenly and clutches at the black book hanging from his belt. He flips it open and peers through the shard of glass at one weathered page. There is hidden writing here, Wigend. It is as I suspected from the very outset. I did not think we could find the means to review it, but you have done so.
There is a moving radiance held within this glass. It reminds me of something.
The rotating beacon atop Barad Kuran, Tower of the Crescent Moon in Minas Morgul. Is this a shard of glass from the beacon in the tower's topmost chamber? You have seen moon letters before, and so have I. Can it be that Voen wrote these secret words in the light of that beacon, knowing they could only be revealed by the same light? But what did he seek to hide? Did he record the location of the weapon sought by Gothmog? We must read the secret writing in the Black Book. Okay. Excellent. I'm ready.
It is time to hear the rest of Voen's tale.
Back into the book. Is the lighting going to be...
Secrets
Oh.
did Voen hide within these halls of memory? Let us now discover them, my friend.
I was kind of hoping that, like, the shimmery lights, instead of being purple and green, would be, like, white or something. Because it's like the moon letters, right, that we're looking... And never mind. It's fine. I believe this will be our last delve into the words of our distant friend, Voen, Wigand. Well, you said that before. Yes, I say friend, for though the tome he left us comes from Mordor and bears the sigil of Sauron upon its cover, I have detected little malice on the part of the Gelruka who wrote it. He has expanded our knowledge of the past, and for that I call him friend. The shard of glass reveals hidden writing that speaks of Mordor. That is where Voen picks up the tale, and that is where we should follow in these halls of memory. Okay. He went to Mordor in search of Earnur. I thought he might have gone with him. You know, that Earnur had, like, gotten the band back together when he went to challenge the Witch King. To Mordor I went then, seeking word of my vanished friend, Gandalf reads aloud. My mind wandered on the hard journey. I remembered our adventures together, and they brought a smile to my face even in that dark land. But there were other memories too, and regrets, and those were less welcome. He had just become King of Gondor, and the crown was an ill fit. The taunts of the Witch King at Fornost ate away at him. If my horse had not bolted, he often began, but one of us was always there to keep him from dwelling upon it. If Mageldir had lived, his words might have kept Earnur from going to Minas Morgul, but Mageldir was dead, and would never return from Durthang. Could I have stopped him? This is the thought that comes back to me again and again, as I write these passages in the dim light of the accursed beacon. He had just become king, and I trusted that his knights would keep him safe. Gondor was no land for Gelruka, and I had deeds of my own to perform. I remember his words to me before I returned to the northern mountains. Go find your city, Voen. Go find Thafargathel. I embraced him then and bid him farewell. I will, I told him. Good, he responded. Then perhaps you will stop talking about it morning and evening. 7 years after that parting, I learned from travelers upon the road that King Earnur went to Imlad Morgul with a band of knights and vanished. I set out at sunrise the following morning, bid farewell to my wife, and resolved to find Earnur. Wouldn't you bid farewell to your wife first, then set out? No. In fact, wouldn't you resolve to find Earnur first, bid farewell to your wife second, and set out at sunrise the following morning? Third, he's done things quite in the reverse order. Whoa. Off he goes like a hare. Oh, look at that. Alright, I'll keep going. Shall I, Vaughn? rise up out of the mists of memory. After many months, Gandalf reads, at last I found him. Yeah, recognize this place? Ah, Earnur. Still looking like a chartered accountant? Still carrying Magildir's sword? It was in the city of Minas Morgul that I came to live, hiding in plain sight among the other wicked dwarves that served the orcs and their foul masters. It was unpleasant work and cruel, but every disagreeable task elevated my position in the city and brought me nearer to my goal. Other dwarves claim the Jalruka have no patience. I proved them all wrong, and was rewarded. In time the bosses gave me a new post, steward of the chambers within the tower atop the city. It was there at last I found Earnur, and the few of his knights who yet survived. Is this what passes for comfort in the lands of the south? I should think you could do better than this, Earnur. I see you still have your sword, which makes you more guest than prisoner. You should have asked for better accommodations, I think. It is good to see you again, Boanna. But you should not have come here. That goes double for you. You never did have much sense. Tough but fair. No, I suppose not. Well, take one last look around to remember the place, and then we'll be away. He just... Come on. Apparently all you ever needed was, lacked was the will to walk out of the room. Yes, why does he not follow? I cannot leave. He has barred the way with cruel enchantments. Yes, Boanna, there might be a reason he hasn't left yet. There's only one means of escape, and I would not take it. But I spent 5 years in search of you. I will not leave you alone. The Lord of the Nazgul will know if I pass beyond the threshold. He will reclaim me and slay you, or worse. I will not bring either of those fates upon you. Okay? You were always the most stubborn of my friends, Earnur. So what is this escape he claims to allow? Using dark arts, he drained the humanity from several of my knights. Oh, hopefully not anyone we know. They were transformed into the Kargul, wraiths of evil that exist only to serve him. That is a sad fate. Death would be better. They do have snappy red robes, though. They're very attractive. So thought Calatur, but he did not have the chance. He was the first to be changed. Our other friends remain in the dungeons. Poor Calatur. I will see what I can find out, or if others might be freed. Is that the fate the Nazgul Lord plans for you, then? No. He allows me to keep my sword, for it figures in his plan. He wants me to despair, to abandon all hope of a free life. In that moment, he wishes for me to fall upon my own blade. Huh. Only when Orthidel drinks my blood will he allow me to die and escape him. Sounds like a trick to me, yeah. I am no scholar, but he must have woven some enchantment around the blade. Letting it taste your blood will likely bind you to him in some unpleasant fashion. Shrewd suspicion there, Voan. I have resisted for these many years, but it becomes more difficult with every passing day. He is patient. This is the only victory that will satisfy him. He is willing to wait. Time was no friend of ours, Gandalf reads aloud. We will think of something. There is still time. The Witch King's pride will be his downfall. He thinks to rob you of the spark that drives you, Earnur, the fire that so infuriates him. As long as that passion to resist him burns within you, he will not know victory over you. I have stayed here too long. I will be back tomorrow. Like a grinding wheel, time moved ever onward, Gandalf reads. Still just hanging out in the throne room. Think, Earnur, think. There is still time, but there is less now than there was. I have devised 100 plans, each of them less likely to succeed than the previous one. But that does not mean escape is impossible. Never think that. I do not want to worry you, but you should know. Silmatar is no more. The Houses of Lamentation claim another of our friends. No, we should not weep for him. Let his fate inspire us to escape, and we can mourn him when we are both free of the Black Land. Not just he, but Silmatar and Kalaktur both. But the grinding wheel showed no mercy. Time moved onward, reads Gandalf. Yes, I see we're to what we are inching closer. I'm beginning to worry, my friend. There must be some means of escape, some way to free you from the Nazgul's grasp. I have searched this tower high and low and delved into every corner of the Vale, but there is nothing. What is that? What did you say? You have thought of something? At last, Earnur, speak. Tell me what you have devised, and I will carry it out. What? Thafar-Gathol? Why do you speak its name here in the darkness of Mordor? That is no use to us now, friend. We must think only of escape. For all the time I have known you, Voan, you have dreamed of finding your lost city. I do not want you to waste your years here in this tower, seeking to prevent something I know to be unpreventable. Yes, I know my doom. Here in the heart of his power, I cannot hope to resist the Lord of the Nazgul for much longer. He knows this, but he seeks not only a thrall, he wants something else. He wants to destroy my spirit, the fire inside me that so infuriates him. Yeah, it's kind of exactly what Voan said. He wants me to despair, to fall upon my own sword, to say with word and deed, you have the victory and I am bested. You are right, Voan. That would be no escape, and would bind me to his will. You know of Egelmoth? He was the lord of this city when it fell, but he did not wait in the tower for the Nazgul to slay him. He rode out, defying the armies of Orc and Wraith, and though he came in the end to death, I think his onslaught will be long remembered. I cannot do as he did, and I cannot keep the Lord of the Nazgul from dominating my mind, but I can hinder this scheme he has devised for me, and cheat him of the total victory he seeks. None will know of this save you, Voan. My own onslaught will not become song or tale or legend, but it will be the deed of Earnur, who resisted evil to the last. Yikes. I cannot leave the tower without alerting the Lord of the Nazgul. But the same cannot be said for Orthodel. Okay. I would send this sword away, as far away as can be managed. Let this be my last act of defiance. Yes, yes, but how can it be done? Orolong and Makilnis still live within the dungeons. Give one of them the sword and a path to escape. He could just take it, right? I mean, if he's going to leave. Voan. Without a distraction, no one will be able to leave Imlad Morgul. Okay, he understands. All right, Voan. There must be further hidden runes elsewhere, Gandalf insists. Better find him soon, Gandalf. Gandalf turns more pages, peering through the glass at each one. Okay. Here we are. Excellent. I thought I was going to be going down this memory tunnel forever. Nope. Every step I took... Oh, here we go. Map still looks like the book. It's Orolong. Voan, what news of Earnur? Tell me he still resists the torments of the Nazgul. What? Escape? What has changed? I will not leave without Earnur. You say he has already fled? Happy news! If you will open my cell, I will follow him to freedom. Dear, sweet Voan! What of Makilnis? You go to free her now? Then I will away, and let us meet again when we are safely outside the Blackland. Farewell, Voan, bearer of happy tidings, and welcome escape. Hooray! Farewell, my friend. Bye-bye. I like how he had the Minas Morgul sign on the back of his prison jumpsuit. Goodbye, Orolong, I am sorry. What, did he plant the sword on him or something? The prisoner is escaping. Eastward he went, toward the bounds. Okay. So you betrayed Orolong so that Makilnis could escape with the sword. This is grim reading, says Gandalf. Only one of Earnur's knights could escape, but even that would require the Guardians of the Vale to be occupied with some distracting mission. Something was needed to draw their attention away from the bearer of the sword. I knew Makilnis was more fleet of foot than Orolong, and would have the greatest chance of escaping the valley, so I gave to her the sword Orthodel and set her free. Only after she was fled did I go to release Orolong, but there was little time to waste. I sent the tower's guardians after him almost immediately, and he led them on a desperate chase, away from Makilnis. Alas, my friend, I had no choice. Anyone could see that. Unless there were also other prisoners. The sword at least never came back to Imlad Morgul. It was not so with poor Orolong. Yeah, I also thought Earnur was going to provide the distraction. Yikes. And so ends the hidden runes Voan left within the Black Book of Mordor, Wigend. If the knight Makilnis escaped Imlad Morgul and came to free lands again, Voan does not tell, and yet I think we have learned enough from this Black Book for me to suggest some possibilities. I believe Makilnis escaped the bounds of Mordor, still in possession of Orthodel, the Rising Star, but not without injury. For how long did she journey? And to where did she go? We cannot know for certain, but it seems she did not make for Minas Tirith, or word of her would appear once again, and it does not. I think she turned northward in an attempt to put as much distance between herself and the Witch King as she was able. Did she survive the journey, and live out her days in peace? Did she succumb to wounds freshly inflicted during her escape, or those she endured during the years of her torment in the dungeons? Was she recaptured by hunting parties sent by the Witch King? Did she come down with a virulent case of flu and die of dehydration 4 years later? Voa never learned which of these came to pass, and I cannot say. But of this I am quite certain. Whatever may have been the fate of this Knight of Gondor, the blade she carried out of the Morgul Vale survived. Orthodel was elf-make, wielded first by Magaldir the Elf during the siege of Barad-dûr, and later by King Earnur of Gondor. But in time its history was forgotten, and its name was lost. It became just a sword, handed down from bearer to bearer for many years. Somehow it found its way into the hands of a Dunedain, and became an heirloom of his house. That is how it came to the ranger Galadir, Wigend. Oh, yes, though it endured much over the years, I think the sword that would be remade in the forges of Rivendell was named Dunachar, and renamed Dunachar was once known as Orthodel, and so the Rising Star became the Avenger of the West. Ah. Yet, it is conjecture only, but I believe it's true. It's true, she probably died of dysentery. Yeah, you're right about that.
Much that was obscured from us now seems clear.
When the sword Dunachar pierced Mordorith's form in the throne room of Carn Dûm, the purpose of the Witch King was fulfilled 1,000 years later, but not in the manner for which he planned. Bonds were made that day, and months later on the Pelennor Fields before Minas Tirith, they would be broken. He could not remember it, but 1,000 years later, Eornor's final act of resistance freed him from the domination of Mordor. Whoa. Hang on. Let me come in again. Okay. So... Alright. So the Witch King casts a spell on the elf sword and leaves it with Eornur, and the sword will bind him to the Witch King's will if he kills himself with the sword. But he doesn't kill himself with the sword, and he eventually gives in to the Witch King, who binds him to his will anyway, right? But then, when the sword remade stabs him, it's supposed to bind him to the Witch King's will. So, like, the spells that he put on it a millennium before work, but then... So that's why he doesn't die? When we killed Mordorith the first time. But he returns to the Witch King, and the Witch King is like, oh, what the heck? Like, that binding I laid down 1,000 years ago is finally binding you. Right? So you're rebound by the original spell. And then the Witch King dies on Pelennor Field? And that bond is broken because it was to the Witch King, who's now dead? And his life is bound to Galadir? Right. No. That's right. That explains. So that's why the Witch King. No. That's why Gothmog can't die as long as Galadir's alive. Right. Because Galadir stabs him with the sword. Still doesn't make any sense. Because if what happens is you're bound to the will of the one who kills you with that sword, then he would have, if he'd committed suicide, he would have been bound to himself or something. Okay. Okay. So, when Galadir stabs him with the sword, he's bound. His life is bound to Galadir, and so when, yes, Kendall says I need a whiteboard. I know. Okay. So, that's how he ends up bound to Galadir. And so when Galadir dies, he's vulnerable, and we drive him out at that point. But how is it true then that Earnur's final act of resistance freed him from the dominion of Mordor? He didn't remember it. His final act of resistance was sending the sword away. Yeah, I know he ran away at Pelennor. I remember that vaguely. We need a Mythmoot reenactment. Okay. Gandalf thinks we've neglected other tasks. Okay, hang on. No. Now I'm going to unravel this mystery. Okay. When the sword Dunakar pierced Mordorith's form in the throne room of Carndum, in the hand of Galadir, the purpose of the Witch King was fulfilled. His purpose was to bind Galadir to his will. And so the binding, not Galadir, the purpose was to bind Earnur. So the binding of Earnur was achieved, but not in the manner for which he planned. Right. So the binding happened, but not the binding to the Witch King. Because that would have been the plan, but it wasn't the way he planned. Instead, he was bound to Galadir's life, which made him vulnerable, which is why when Galadir sacrifices himself at the Battle of Pelennor Field, Gothmog has to flee. So far, so good. That's why when he says when the bonds were made and then the bonds were broken because Galadir died. Okay, fine. So it's just, we're almost there. We're almost there. It's just the last step now. Earnur's final act of resistance freed him from the domination of Mordor. So, okay. Yeah, Galadir's death freed him and made him vulnerable to death at Minas Morgul. Yeah, but in what sense was he freed? That's really that's the puzzle. The central puzzle. Gandalf says that Earnur was free, and then he was made free by the fact that the sword was sent away, by which means it eventually came to Galadir. So he is definitely saying that there's a causal relationship between Galadir's use of the sword and subsequent sacrifice of himself and Gothmog / Mordorith / Earnur being freed from the domination of Mordor. So when he fled, he was vulnerable, but he was also free? Free in the sense that he could be killed. So he was set free. Yeah, I think that's probably it. Like he is free. Because look, Earnur ought to have died a long time ago, right? So he's being set free, not in the sense in which, like Gorlim the Unhappy is being set free by Sauron, like aka killed, but more like the way that Count Dracula is set free at the end of the book, right? Spoilers. They kill Dracula at the end of the book. And don't give me that. You've had 125 years to read the book, so no blame. I don't. Don't get mad at me. Okay. Yeah, I think in that sense, he could only be set free. Like, he's now this, like, wraith dragging on his life. And so to end his tie... Yeah. But Gothmog sent us to find a weapon, so what is that? Phil, I was getting there. The theory... Okay. Gothmog believed that the key would lead to a weapon. But whenever they talk about like a weapon of ultimate power, you always got to believe that it's not, like that they're wrong, right? I mean, that's how many times has somebody been like, there is a weapon here that, like, if we can uncover this weapon, it will destroy anything. Like, how many times has that actually turned out to be a weapon, right? I mean, like, that's that never pans out. So he knows, he believes this key unlocks a weapon. The weapon is truth. And the truth that it unlocks by being able to read this chapter of the Black Book with the crystal is the truth of what happened and how Earnur helped to bring about his own ending. And so all that stuff about like being able to defeat the other captains of Mordor with it was just Mordorith not understanding. I think so. I think that all works. If being freed from the domination of Mordor ultimately, I think that we have to read that as the extinction of his wraith, right? Then Earnur's spirit, now, like, right? I mean, like, if this were Star Wars, he'd now be like a happy blue Force ghost, right? You know, hanging out with, like, you know, Anakin and Yoda. So I think that's the sense in which Earnur, and remember, there's also the parallel of Isildur's shade finding rest, right? So Earnur and Isildur, both of them finding peace, I think, in a kind of a parallel way. Yeah. I think that's it. I think that's it. And so we don't have to worry about it anymore because there isn't any weapon, because that was Mordorith's misunderstanding. Okay. Right. Anyway, so Gandalf now thinks we should go do other things.
Have you forgotten why I came this way?
No. I'm here in the Vales of Anduin as an escort for the wagon bearing Isildur's bones northward. Yes, the son of Elendil will at last complete the journey he began at the start of the age, and by doing so see the fulfillment of his oath. I left the wagon to partake of Grimbeorn's hospitality, for his dogs serve a merry feast. But it is past time for this wizard to return to service, and you should come with me. Are you not tied up in this business as well? Do not give me that look. I had very little to do with your getting involved, if you remember. I dare say I could not have stopped you, had I the mind to try. I will see you alongside the wagon. The driver should have reached Lyre-Lad by now. Okay. Lyre-Lad beside the Gladden Fields. Has Wigend been to Lyre-Lad? I think he has. Oh, hey, Elrond, you came with the wagon too? So this is a northbound Elrond? Oh, wait, hang on a second. I just blew past the stable master. Okay, stable master.
The Vales are under our protection.
Let's try Hildvase. Oh, Limlock. I was thinking of the Wells of Langflood. I was thinking of Limlock, is what I was thinking of. But Wigend hasn't been there yet. Right. Yep. Okay. Actually,
We do not fear the darkness.
can I get a
And we
fast
never
horse to
will.
Blomgard? Okay. Okay. And now, yeah, let's do the drawing. Thank you. Thank you, Zach, for reminding me. Let's do the drawing. This is another drawing for a free 3-month subscription to the Collaboratory, where you can access our MA lectures and our space lectures and our books and some video series and fan tracks and all kinds of things. Let's see. Who do we got? Erica from Texas. All right. Congratulations, Erica. What you have to do, let's see, Erica, are you still here? Excellent. Very good. So remember, Erica, what you do, send an email to info@signumu.org. And there's a ghost by the wagon. Found him. Yeah, and then mention your name and your screen name, and we'll get you set up. A sensation of dread surrounds the wagon. Hey there, hey man. Hey look, you've almost come home. Look, it's right across the way. Did you pause here to like look out over the vista? Ah, yes.
I sense the presence of evil.
Uh-oh. You're beyond harm. Have you not suffered enough in these lands? I know, like, we had to bring you right through here. I would have thought that maybe you could have gone north a different way. I'd have taken you through the Gap of Rohan if it were me. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, why bring you right past here again? He's trying to banish the thing. Something's here, Gandalf?
There is a dreadful presence here.
Yeah.
I cannot see the source of it.
Okay. Look for the source of dread. Hey. Source of dread. Oh, hey, found it. It's Vagari the Wanderer. Wait, wasn't Vagari the Wanderer Isildur? Aren't they the same dude? I'm confused.
I remember now. It was lost to me, but now it has returned.
Son of no blood, son of no blood. The shade stares past you, glaring at the wagon, at the dread sensation, and the dread sensation intensifies. Then it abates, with only emptiness left in its wake. It was lost to me, but now it has returned. I know what I saw. I know what I did. The shade grows indistinct, wavering in your vision, then reforms again. It seems to take a great deal of effort and leaves Vagari weary. I want to confess to you what I saw and what I did. I want one among the living to know of my misdeeds, and there is something I must do. Okay. Well, this is a regular ghost reunion.
Do not forget this is a creature of evil, but I think we should heed it.
Okay. No, I won't forget that it's a...
Let us hear what Vagari has to say.
Yeah. Let's do it. What do you say, Ghost of Isildur?
My story begins long ago. So very long ago.
You intrigue me. How long exactly? Is this a first age story?
My tale. Hear it, and know from whence I came.
Okay. All right. Stone of Erech. Gotcha. Or the Hill of Erech. Upon which there... Oh, stone is there. Okay. So, not that long ago. It's Third Age. Shouldn't complain, I suppose. Okay, Vagari. Tell me the story. I was born in Numenor 2 scant years before its fall, but I cannot trust my memories of that land. Are they true recollections, or the fleeting shadows of stories I was told, the impressions of others? I cannot say. But I know the name I was given. I was born a Dunzagar. It was only the first of my names and not the last. My father was Urizagar, the Captain General of Numenor's fleets, and his title was Sword of the Sun. Good title. Do I remember his cruelty, or his worship at the temples of Sauron? I thought I did. Do I remember the warmth of my mother, Abrazani? Oh, I know who this dude is. It's the guy from the battle. Yeah, I know. Yeah, okay. Or is that memory a creation too? Balm for the hurts of my heart. This I do know. My mother pleaded with the sons of Elendil to make a place for me on their ships, right? And they adopted him as like a foster brother. And Right, in later years, when I was older, Isildur told me that my father's spies prevented her from reaching the ships in time. Was it so? I do not know. But that is how I came without father or mother to the shores of Middle-earth when Numenor sank beneath the waves. Isildur took me to foster and gave me a new name, Tarandil. Yeah, that dude. I remember you. I grew up with his sons, and they were as brothers to me. Yeah, I know. We were like hanging out. By the time I was a man, I had won a number of victories on Isildur's behalf. Indeed, after the Battle of Tarling's Neck, it was I who accepted the surrender of King Rioch. Oh, the original Oathbreaker. Okay. I myself delivered Rioch's axe and spear to Isildur and attended the victory feast with him. There's one really happy Numenorian soldier. Yeehaw! I had eyes only for Rivendell, King Rioch's only daughter. Oh dear. Okay. I loved her at once, and she loved me, but we could not speak of it openly. Well, okay, so reciprocity's good, when it comes to these things. In secret, we plighted our troth before the stone my foster father set upon Erech. Okay, no, I'm not going to criticize. I mean, you're swearing a betrothal oath, so that's like already binding, so. Can't very well tell somebody not to take an oath who's going to get married. King Rioch had pledged peace to my people, but he still hated the men of Numenor. Rivendell knew this, but the ways of the heart are not those of the mind. Revealing the truth of our love would destroy the peace between our peoples. Would it? I mean, like in that her dad would be ticked off? But then Rivendell bore me a son. She named him Khil. Ah, an auspicious name. I'm kidding, that's not an auspicious name. I'm sure it's not as bad as it sounds. Wow, look at that. He's got a big head, but, kids do have big heads, so it's probably natural. King Rioch was enraged, for he was certain that his grandson had been born a bastard, but Rivendell soothed his ire with reassuring words. She told the king she had been married in secret, not to an invading Numenorian, but to one of his own warriors, who had recently been slain in battle with orcs. Khil was born of that union, she said, and therefore the stain of dishonor could not cling to him. Rioch's anger cooled. Boy, she was thinking fast there. That's a pretty cunning story. Rioch's anger cooled, and he agreed to raise the boy as his own grandchild. I grieved that my son would not know his true father, but there was nothing I could do. I stole gold from the treasury of Prince Earnur of Belfalas, and sent as much as could be done secretly to Rivendell to provide for the boy. But then I was summoned back east by my foster father Isildur, for the host of Mordor had come down the valley and overthrown Minas Morgul. Sauron's war had begun. and the king sent word to all their allies that it was time to honor their vows. It was then that Riok learned the truth. Oh, there he is, little Khil. Had been born with blue eyes, uncommon but not unknown among the wild men. Sorry, trying to get a good seat here. Their eyes sometimes did not darken until the age of 2, but Khil's eyes did not darken, and his pale skin and black hair betrayed his Númenórean blood. Riok confronted Rivendell, threatening to kill her child, and she confessed the truth. She said she had loved a Dunedain, but she would rather die than betray his name. Oh, is he going to say that like the whole oath-breaking was his fault? Incensed, Riok ordered his warriors to set down their spears. He swore eternal enmity with Gondor and declared he was breaking his oath. Oh, man. Okay. The men of the mountain would not fight against Sauron. It's kind of like a, piddling reason. And so the curse of Isildur was levied against them. Dude, don't blame yourself here. I'm not saying you acted perfectly throughout, but, I pleaded with Isildur to show mercy, to forgive Riok and his people of their oath-breaking, but my foster father's wrath at their treachery was so great I feared for my life. I quailed before the storm of his rage and told him not of Rivendell my wife, or Khil my son. Would that truth-telling have changed his mind? Would it cause him to repent of his curse? My mind dwells ever on this, not the earliest of my wrongs, but the first I regret. I went north with Isildur and my foster brothers to summon aid from Earnur and from the elves, and every night my heart pleaded with me to speak the truth, and every day the guilt pressed heavily upon me, and weighed my lips shut. For all my time with the Great Alliance I kept secret my marriage to Rivendell, and the duty I owed my son. My brothers goaded me with the thought I might never marry, and each of their barbs pricked me more deadly than they intended or imagined. I feared for Rivendell and for Khil, and when the war finally ended, I was frenzied with worry for them. Isildur offered me the chance to be the captain general I had dreamed of becoming, commander of all the armies of the Dunedain, but no longer did my heart desire it. I longed only to return to the White Mountains so I could find my wife and son. Then I will make you more than a mere lord, my son of no blood, Isildur said to me, but rather a prince, for Earnur and all his sons perished during the war. Belfalas needs a new master. Go, take my blessing with you. I will take your blessing, I said to him, but not for me. Show mercy instead for the men of the mountain, and lift the curse you have placed upon them. I will bring you their false king's head, and his people shall swear their oath anew. But he refused. Always did Isildur refuse me this one request. I brought desperate search to the Vale of Morthond, but could find no sign of the wild men. Their villages were abandoned, peopled only by bones. The Hill of Erech had become a blighted and fearful place. Okay. I followed the few signs I could find into the mountains to the source of the Blackroot. Deep within the darkness of the mountain tunnels, I found that I had come too late. The wild men had all died. Some had perished by starvation or disease. Others had killed one another or themselves. Riok lay among them, his own sword buried in his heart. But that was not the worst of it. Isildur's curse had taken hold. Oh, here we go. I was chased from those tunnels by the shades of Riok and his household. From the top of the Hill of Erech, he howled his rage and fury at me. Shade of Riok, tell me of your remembered Shade of Riok. Tell me of your rage and fury. I know now who despoiled my daughter, faithless invader from beyond the sea. My rage will follow you forever, though I remain bound to pass no further than Erech. You will never be free of it, for my howling anger will pursue you wherever you think to go. But that is the least of the daggers with which I cut thee. This will be the sharpest. There can be no escape for my daughter and her child. You will share my sorrow, detestable thief, for she and the child will remain with me forever. The shade of Mithrandir says nothing, dwelling upon his old sorrows. Huh. What do you think, Gandalf?
The pieces fall into place.
And I begin to see the sad road that brought the shade of Mithrandir to this place and this state. Could he have turned away from this course and prevented the evil he would cause? For I guess at the ending, and it is sorrowful. Still we must hear it.
Mithrandir's confession has not yet ended. If he will say more, we must listen.
Man, notice how narrative driven, like almost everything I've done today has been, right? I mean, I had to fight my way up and down Minas Morgul a couple times, but that's really been it.
I have more to tell.
Okay.
It caused me pain.
Let's do it.
Never before had I known such despair.
I remember little of the days and weeks that followed. I wandered in the wilderness, mad with grief for my wife and son, lamenting their doom, an eternity of pitiless unrest. I never came to the halls that awaited me. Belfalis was not to be mine, and I cared not. I dreamt my family called to me, their voices drawing me deeper into the wild lands. I know not where trod my feet. Uncaring I grew gaunt and hungry. Somewhere in the wilderness, not far from the site of a past victory that was now wholly meaningless, I found a creature that was known to me, one of the 9. It was a Nazgul of Sauron, and I could not escape it. Do I say could not? That is not the right of it. I did not try to escape. Perhaps this Nazgul could give me the only escape I wanted. I welcomed the cold touch of death, and I feared it not. Where are we? Tarlin's Crown? Near Lamadon? Still in the Blackroot Vale? Okay. Man of the West, whose sires once hallowed my master. Right, yeah. I offer thee the chance to redeem thyself. My master is unhoused, but yet unbroken. Okay? If thou aidest him, if thou bringest him back to power. Oh dear. Well, that would be a good deal worse than anything you've done. He can grant thee thy greatest desire. What, reunion with your wife and child? Did I mention Gorlim the Unhappy recently? You have come on a fool's errand, Wraith. Phew. I desire nothing in this world any longer, only death. The Master can bestow that gift, but not only for thee. Lend him your aid, and he will give it to those you love as well. I knew the power of Sauron. Had it not taken the greatest kings of both elves and men to defeat him? And even then, the effort had taken both their lives. If any might have the power to end the suffering of Rivendell and Khil, might it be Sauron? Golly, this is horrible reasoning, Mithrandir. Seriously. There is something else the Master can offer. Something to satisfy a yearning so encompassing you no longer take notice of it. Yearning, you say? Okay? Vengeance against those who deserve it. Oh dear. What does Sauron require? The least of rings? The wretch who stole my master's ring must not be allowed to keep it. Kill him and bring it to Mordor, and death will be your reward. You've got other options on the death front. And so I became my father's son after all. By how many twisting paths had Adunzagar, son of Urizagar, come to this place? The name Tarandil no longer suited me. But I knew I needs must wear it a little longer if I was to fulfill my bargain with the blade of Lebenin and his master. I returned from the wilderness gaunt and haggard, but with newfound purpose. I returned to Minas Ithil just as my foster father Isildur prepared to depart for Numenus to claim his father Elendil's throne. Oh, man. So the Gladden Fields was an inside job? The falsehoods came more easily to me than they once did. I told Isildur and my brothers that I had been waylaid and wounded by orcs on the road, left to die by one of their raiding parties. That would have been the end, I said to them, but for the Orodhoth, the men of the mountain. They rescued me and nursed me back to health. For that they have my gratitude. I tell you true. I would count their broken oaths repaired for this deed. Sneaky. Sneaky. They delighted to see me again, for they feared my death in the wilderness. I am glad of their service to you, Tarandil, son of no blood, but their betrayal remains beyond pardon. This treachery cannot now be redeemed, no matter how dear to me the subject of their aid. But let us not dwell upon the oath-breakers. It brings me no happiness to speak of such faithless traitors, not on such a joyful occasion as this, your return from the wild and from the dead. I understand if you do not wish to take the western road again so soon. The change of heart that brought you hither to Minas Ithil is understandable, and if it is your wish, I will not push for you to return to Belfalas. Come with us instead on the northern road, if you are hale and hearty enough for the journey. What say you? Aye, father. Oh, not good. Not good, Vagari the Wanderer. But I would need to escape with the ring, and he was always surrounded by knights. That was when I saw the orcs. Okay. At dawn, I crept away from the camp and slipped away. Oh, sorry, I didn't see the quest ring over that one guy. You are more reckless than others of your kind I have slain, but there is something else too. A shadow lies upon you, deeper and darker than that of any orc. Is that why you have given us the marching orders for your band, and suggested this plan of attack? It is more detailed than any orcish plan of battle. A feint and a retreat, followed by a finishing attack when their guard is down. I like it. I could kill you right now, foolish one. You have given us the perfect location to surprise your band, trapped between the marshes on their left and the forest to their right. What need do I still have for you? I can name the reason you still live, and it is this only, my curiosity. I want to know why you do this. Why betray your king? Good night, Phil. Thanks. Because he deserves death. Okay. I asked for 3 things. Your life, okay, which was what you were wanting to give up in the first place. Escape, which you also didn't really seek in any way. And the third? His body. So be it. I will give you these 3 things for which you have asked. My crow feeders will get first crack at your marching men, but I will send word to the other raiding parties within range of us. Bloody Moon and Twisted Neck will want to be included, but my crow feeders deserve the greatest share of the treasure, and they will get it. But I warn you, traitor, cross me and I will keep your life, but only so you will know torments the like of which you have never dreamed. I resolved to stay as near to Isildur as I could without arousing suspicion. When he fell beneath the blades of the orcs, I needed to ensure I could take the ring from his body before the orcs seized it for themselves. A traitor sees treachery everywhere, and I did not trust Gurnach. 1 hour after meeting with the crow feeders, I was back at the camp with my sword sheathed at my side. No one had missed me. My treason remained a secret. This is very interesting. I have many thoughts.
Much has been made clear to me by Tarandil's confession.
The shade of Isildur spoke true. The disaster of the Gladden Fields was no accident.
Tarandil's confession draws to its close.
Fear and relentless worry gnawed at me on that northward road.
As my foster father's company followed the northward road between marsh and forest, I saw the signs of Gurnach's raiding party everywhere. Each snapping twig, every bird taken flight, all seemed to herald the missteps of the orcs. The maps are changed, I remember thinking as the company neared my scouted location. The course of the river is different than it was when we came south, and the lay of the land may not be as I remembered. It is not going to work. Then there was no time left for doubt. If Adunzagar could have repented of his treachery and stayed Tarandil, that time was gone when the orcs attacked. I did not notice its passing, for at first the plan I had given the orcs seemed without flaw. At first. The darkness shielded their numbers, and enlarged the attacking force in the minds of Isildur's men. Still they were valiant, and tempered by their travails during the war they had so recently fought. When there came an opening, my foster father commanded they press further north. But it was not the harbinger of victory it seemed, and the orcs returned for the second of the attacks I had suggested.
The second attack was more fierce than the first had been. Isildur's defeat seemed certain.
Oh, come on. You're not going to show this on the map? I know the map is not exactly the same as it was. I became separated from Isildur during the fighting, and while I was engaged with the orcs on one flank of our diminishing circle, he gave something to his esquire Oktar. Oktar vanished during the fighting. Did he escape? And more importantly, what was he given? What was he given? Had Oktar taken the ring? I had to know. Tarandil, you have to keep fighting. We are going to get through this. What did father give to Oktar? This is not the time for this, brother. Keep fighting. Ornahair, no. Oh, okay, and there he goes. Melderon, the orcs are too many. Tarandil, you are alive. Thank the Valar. Things go ill for us, brother. Father sent his esquire away before the fighting became too thick, entrusting Oktar to bear the shards of Narsil away from the battle. But I fear he did not give him the object of the orcs' desire, and if we do not do something, they will seize it. Father, you have to escape. You must. Bring it too. Stand tall, my sons. Oh, where'd he go? During the confusion, I lost sight of Isildur. Where had he gone, and did he still have the ring? If he escaped now, my bargain with the Nazgul would come to naught. The riverbank. He must have escaped to the riverbank. Okay, I'll just follow you. Keeps popping up. Whoop! There he goes. Okay. Oh, discarded armor. His armor lay among the reeds. Discarded. He must have intended to swim. Isildur swam and I pursued him. Still no map. I found him at last, but could make no sense of his expression, mixed pain and elation. My muscles ached. The swim had taken its toll on me, and I knew I must rest before attempting the return journey. I would hide among the reeds and wait until the orcs prowling on the distant shore had abandoned their vigil. Then I would swim back with my prize. Despite my exhaustion, I had to complete the task I had set for myself. It was time. As tired as I was, as sick in heart and body as a man can be, I had to finish this. Father, do you still have it? Does the ring remain safe? It is gone. It left me in the water. I am forsaken, and I am free. No. No. Yeah, I agree, Tarandil. No, that is not how it works. Ooh, he's got the Elendamere. Oh, and the orcs shoot him anyway. Oh, correct by technicality. He must have been lying. You need his body, huh? I will find it and pry the ring from his dead hand. What, did the orcs shoot him from all the way across the river? Rivendell and Khil were innocent. How is this? Because of the curse, right? I guess. You were gone with the current and the ring with you. All is lost, all is ashes, 1,000 curses upon you. Without the ring, I cannot fulfill my bond. I cannot save my family. That was super lame, Tarandil. I mean, like, uh-oh. Oh, dear. I think he just did something desperate. Like something he could have done before, if that was, death was what he really wanted. But for men such as me, death was no escape. Okay, so, the thing that I was disagreeing with, when the ring slipped off his hand, he would not have been free, any more than Gollum was free. when the ring slipped off his hand. Giving up the ring, like voluntarily giving it up, will set you free, like it did Bilbo, right? But if he didn't make the choice to give it up, if it just slipped from his hand, that would not have freed him. That would have intensified his slavery, like with Gollum again. It's a really important distinction, I think.
My dagger cut deeply, and I perished.
But although the line of my life had reached its end, I was to have no rest. The oath I swore was to a power far greater and darker than that sworn by Riok, and it bound me to those cursed fields long past the night my blood was spilt. I searched in vain for Sauron's ring, but my prize was lost, and with it all my hopes. I yielded to my misery, and rage consumed me. So great was my ire that all fled before me, and as the centuries passed, I left behind all memory of my life. All I knew was anger and resentment, and I gave the death that was denied me to all who entered my domain. Orc, elf, or man, no creature was safe from my wrath. But then amid the confused tatters of my memory, one crossed my path who I knew of old. He wore the appearance of an old pilgrim, cloaked in grey, but I knew this vagabond's form hid a great power. How could he have returned? I confronted him, and my spirit was seared by the heat of the power he kept hidden. Then I was afraid, and fled. But he followed close behind, and cast a spell most cruel. I was banished, but the force of my oath prevented my leaving in distress. My very being was torn asunder, and I knew no more for long years. But something changed, something far away and yet ever present, and my form coalesced in agony out of the mist. The pain I felt in that moment was worse than every torment I ever experienced, save one, the anguish of losing Rivendell and Khil forevermore. That pain I feel still. So when did Gandalf chase him down?
I desired to confess my treachery, and I have done so.
Okay. There remains but one thing for me. I will seek for my wife and child, for Rivendell and Khil, no matter where they may be. I would suffer any hurt to see them again, and to know their fate, whether it be doom undeterred or rest finally achieved. Do they linger still in this world? I have to know. If I must consign myself to mindless oblivion in the effort, so be it. I face it without fear. Tarandil's form wavers uncertainly, and he addresses Isildur for the first time. Father, I do not seek your pardon. I know it could never be granted, and I would not ask it, but I wanted you to know how sorry I am. I have forgotten so much over the centuries, but that I never lost. That sorrow was always with me, even when all else was emptiness. Oh.
I do not forgive you, Tarandil, my son not of blood, but of choice.
But I think there was a time when these sorrows might have been avoided had you spoken freely to me in life. Yeah, just what I was thinking. I set aside my vengeance. There is no suffering I could impose that you have not inflicted upon yourself. Go then, and endure the punishment you earned, the punishment you created. Begone. Isildur, as soon as I met that guy back at the, in the battle, in the war, I knew he was bad news. Didn't I say it? You remember me saying it last year. It's a pretty intense quest line. Yeah, it is.
Hearing the tale of Tarandil in its fullness fills me with both satisfaction and regret.
The first for the responses in it to questions long unanswered, but the second for my own part in the tale. The evil deeds he performed cannot be excused, but if I had known the full extent of the Shade story, I might have stayed my hand. Farewell to Tarandil, and to Rivendell and Khil, whatever their fates. Our journey must continue. One oath may yet be fulfilled. Okay. Oh, on to Rivendell, huh? Okay. Okay. So on the subject of the Gladden Fields being an inside job.
Greetings.
have a lot of thoughts here. The primary one was, as Isildur himself said, it all seemed rather unnecessary.
What do you need?
I mean, I don't really... I mean, he made bad choices at first in the sense of, like, dumb choices, to be perfectly frank. I mean, since he knew what, like, that she would be in danger if her father discovered this, why didn't he take her? Like, why didn't she come with him? Why didn't they leave together? So, like, the fact that he left her there first is the first strange thing. Okay. We're back in Rivendell, folks. Time to not fall off the bridge. So yeah, like, why didn't he just take her with him? I mean, is there really a strong chance that, like, Isildur would not have accepted this? The bridge to the last homely house is out? Well, that's okay. I don't need to go there. I don't think. It's at the entrance to the valley, so I just think I have to go this way. Oh, and it's not on the server anyway. Okay, no problem. So yeah, so why didn't he take them with him in the first place? Why did he not just tell, like, even afterwards? You know, why did he not? There seems to be a lot of inactivity here that I don't fully understand. And then what he thought he was gaining, what, that Sauron could undo the curse and save his, like, but he doesn't even know where his wife and son are. I mean, yeah, dead Riok's Shade gloated about it, but is that even true? I don't know. It's all kind of strange. Sorry, I should probably pay attention to where I'm going. Yeah, it's all a little bit strange. And here we are. See, but I don't think it's love that's preventing him from telling the truth. That's the thing. I agree that love makes people do illogical things, but love is not the motivation to not tell Isildur. That's something else. Shame or but it's not love that motivated the not telling Isildur about it in the first place. Love motivated him, you know, to marry her secretly by the Stone of Erech. Yeah, fear, sure. But see, but that's exactly it. That's not the problem that I have with the story, but that's where he went wrong. Like, the story does not say that he went wrong because he loved too much. It says that he went wrong because he loved too little, or he let his fear or concern for his position or whatever it was that kept him from telling the truth to Isildur in the first place, or the second place. In either place, he could have told the truth to Isildur, and it is not love that was prompting him to keep secret about that. In fact, again, those things went contrary to his love, in that he was, like, worried about them, but he didn't do anything about it, which he could have done. which love was prompting him to do, but he resisted it and instead kept his mouth shut. So, yeah, I think the moral of his story is not that, like, you know, love makes you do stupid things. Not that it doesn't, but that, again, that wasn't his problem. An excess of love was definitely not his problem. Hey, Shade of Isildur, here we are. But we're in Rivendell, so we're kind of lagging, I think. I can't seem to actually do anything here.
After the passage of so many years, I have come at last to Rivendell, as was my vow.
I can now know rest these long centuries. I can now know rest these long centuries later. Never did I think this day would come. The shade of Isildur wavers before you, shimmering in and out of view. With a great effort he remains to give you his final words. The tale of Tarandil has still stirred something in me, and I can dismiss it no longer. I know the struggle he faced, the conflict that caused him such distress, and I find I can understand. I do not forgive him, but I understand what caused him to fall. He was my son, not of blood, but a son all the same. Some measure of his wickedness must be traced to me, for was I not the man he would strive to be? Okay. The shade of Isildur wavers again, its attachment to Middle-earth made tenuous by fulfillment of his ancient vow. My thoughts turn to Earnur Wigend. Tarandil fell to darkness through the arts of the blade of Lebanon, one of the Nazgul, and not the greatest nor the most evil, but Earnur fell to the lord of the Nazgul himself. Earnur spoke of the torments he endured in that dark place, and I dismissed them. The blood of my brother Inarian ran through his veins, and I chastened him for not resisting. I cursed him for failure, I, who might have ended the reign of Sauron forever, and could not. I regret my words. Earnur should not be left to rot within Minas Morgul, Wigend. Did I say he died as Gothmog? Nay, he died as Earnur, descended through many generations from my brother Inarian, who perished on the fields before Barad-dûr. It is my hope that the body of Earnur will be recovered and given a king's rest. This is my final request. Okay. So, not to, like, disagree with... What is the problem here? I can't seem to do anything. I can move about, it's not responding. Oh, there we go. Well, no. It's weird it's not responding to keyboard commands. Is my keyboard dead? Hang on. It's conceivable, I suppose. Because it's responding to the mouse, but it's not responding. Hang on a second. Ha! Yeah, I think that was the problem. My keyboard died. That's not so good. Okay. All right, I've plugged it in. I think I'll be okay now. That's really odd. Because it looked like lag, you know, when you freeze in place and you can still look around, but you can't go anywhere. Okay.
Isildur and the ring came to Rivendell long years after he so vowed. Now both are gone from the world.
It has been an eventful journey, but there is one more thing I must say to you. He lifts the Black Book of Mordor from its leather strap. I spent the latter half of the ride to Rivendell considering what I might have missed within the Black Book. The glass shard from the beacon of Barad Kuron revealed no further secrets to me, but I felt certain there was more to learn. Had I overlooked some trick? At last I have determined my error, and while I am ashamed to admit it, even the very wise will sometimes make mistakes of this fashion. I was so focused upon the writing of Voen that all else was obscured, as if I were blindfolded. That is how I missed it. Voen's handwriting is very distinctive, and as I scoured it for any further clue, I quite ignored the drawings which decorate the margins of several pages near the end of the tome. I saw no meaning in these pictures, for I thought them mere embellishment, and yet, hidden among these illustrations, I finally recognized further dwarf runes. I did not see them during my previous studies because they were not written in Voen's hand. Someone else wrote these runes, hiding them in plain sight. I have now translated them, Wigend, and can properly tell you the ending to Voen's tale. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
These runes were not made by Voen's hand. They were made by another.
Ah, so it was Voen's wife, Boanna. Okay, it was she who finished the Black Book of Mordor. Hear now her words, and you will know the end of the tale contained therein. Okay.
What secrets did she add to the holes of memory? I wonder.
Hey there, Boanna. I am named Boanna, and I am of the Jalruka. I met Voen, who would be my husband, when I was young, and my beard was but a shadow of what it is today, and I did not count him much of a dwarf. It was only with the passage of years that he earned my love, and now we have a son. Tuzco is his name, and already I have filled his ears with the stories of his father's adventures. But he is young, and to him tales are just tales. Ask an old dwarf the tales of her youth, and she may not remember them. So I do not entrust this story to Tuzco, though he is dearest to me in all this world, and I will raise him to be all as Jalruka should be. As was Voen's wish, I record the end of his tale in the tome he brought out of Mordor, and this I now do. It was in the year 2051 that Voen went south in his search of his vanished friend, the lost king of Gondor. He fell in with such wicked dwarves as he could find. Okay. Interesting that they're shifting to a different narrative perspective for the final parts, which had Voen doing some sketchy things. In their company, he made his way past the bounds of Mordor. Oh, right, I should go on alone. I forgot that's what that means. Okay. For 12 years he remained in Mordor, and when he finally returned, he was not the same. The time he spent among such wickedness in the Black Land and the citadel of Minas Morgul took its toll upon him. No one could have survived such an experience unchanged, but by my beard, I say none could have done better than my Voen. I miss him every day. Okay. Back to the throne room in the Tower of the Moon. Oh, we're redoing it. He spent years in Minas Morgul trying to free his friend from a cruel fate. Yeah. Time grinding past and all that. But it was not to be. The torments of the Witch King proved too severe, and in time the Earnur's resistances fell, as he knew they would. He had told Voen this day would come, but my husband refused to believe it. Alas, the depth of the evil in that place overmastered Voan's hopeful heart, and the words of his friend proved true. Yeah, we missed this part. The day Voan feared came at last. The Witch King's domination was complete. Earnur was given new raiment and a new name. After years of torment, he remembered neither his friends nor their adventures. Voan was but one wicked dwarf among many who served in Minas Morgul. Okay, he tried to remind Earnur of his old life, but it was to no avail. Use that name in my presence and I will have you slain. So he's not dead? Still alive. Earnur, I meant no offense. It will not happen again. Okay. See that it does not. Tell my master I will join him presently at bar near Knife. The Mistress of Lamentation has a task for me. It's a pretty good title. Yes, of course. Thank you for your mercy, Morderith. I know it was painful for him. Voan knew the time had come. He ascended the stairs in the tower and came to the very highest chamber, where resided the great beacon. He broke a shard from its reflective surface, and using the secret arts of our kind, he trapped a ray of the moon's light in that glass. Sitting in that high place, my husband took from his satchel an empty tome he had taken from an archive in the city. The accursed sage that governed it never knew the book to be missing. In the light of that moon, Voan wrote the tale of his years, and he left nothing out. He wrote of Magaldir, the elf, into whose life my husband came only near the end, and wept to not have known him longer. He wrote of the knights of Gondor, with whom he adventured in Gundabad and elsewhere. Hopeful Silmatar, courageous Calatur, swift Makilnis, and loyal Orolong, whose death grieved him for all the rest of his days. But most of all he wrote of Earnur, the lost king of Gondor and his dearest friend. It would be the only record of the man Earnur had been before he fell into the net of the Witch King. When Voan could find no more words to write, he found a plain coffer in the city and fashioned 2 keys to open it. One of the keys he kept, the other he set beneath hammer and broke the end. He presented that broken key to the wraith, who had once been his friend. Okay. Oh, here we are. What is this? I need no gifts from Morgul slaves. So, Morderith, are you still alive? The gift is not from me, it is from your master. Okay, so Voan lies to him. The Lord of the Nazgul wants you to keep this key on your person. Okay, so Voan plants it. It will unlock a mighty weapon, a weapon that cannot be overcome, right? It is the truth of who he is. It's his identity. The key is broken. There is naught it can unlock. Very cunning, Voan. The tests of your Nazgul master are no concern of mine. I have done my duty, Morderith. Yes, you have, Voan. Very good. Farewell, I say. Farewell. Voan left Minas Morgul then, walking as if he were its master, and could not be armed. That way. He did not stay in Mordor. After 12 years, my husband returned to me. Even hidden among the margin illustrations in the Black Book, the tone of Boanna's writing is as clear as the crystal surface of a mountain lake. I had some questions. she writes. Time to go in that other one we passed by. Our home in Yarnfast needed some repair, and Boanna wished to construct something else. The secret room with the creepy runes. Well, here we are. Boanna wanted to build a secret chamber in which to hide the book he had written. Hey, look, it's little Tazco. The chamber took many years to finish. It was his life's work, and into its construction he poured every part of himself. On the walls he carved the song of Thafargotho, for that was the dream he set aside for the love of his friends and the memory of their struggles, but it still captured his imagination. Often I would enter the hidden chamber unnoticed, and find him staring at the song, humming to himself. More than once I would interrupt his musings and hear him speaking softly in the dim light. "One day," he would say from time to time, "one day." Our son Tazco was born in the years following his father's return from Mordor, and he delighted to play in the hidden room. But eventually Boanna grew cross and forbade his son from entering. "It's disrespectful, Tazco," he chided the boy. "This room is a crypt. It is a tomb for the dwarf I was, and for my friends who have died, and worse than died." "What could be worse than death?" Tazco asked him once, but that was the end of the discussion. Boanna would no longer speak openly of the hidden chamber or the tome within. "In time my husband felt the onset of his years, and knew his end approached. There was one last journey for us to make, and then he would be satisfied with the life he had lived." This is cool. I'm really liking this story here. The three of us journeyed westward to the Grey Mountains. Where are we now? Okay, Worm Gap. I remember Worm Gap. The place was nasty. "It has been a long journey, but I have a few steps more to take. I trust you both know you have all my love?" "Good, good. Keep the deeds of the Gelruka close to your heart, Tazco, and live by their example. You will be a strong dwarf and brave, stronger and braver than I have been, I expect. I am proud of you, my son. Take care of your mother, and see that she wants for nothing. Boanna, you are more dear to me than you know, and these years have been better than I deserve. Take care of Tazco, and know that I will bear the memories of our time together wherever these steps take me." Where are you going, Vaughn? Is he really going to find Thafargotho? What do you believe, Tazco? I hope so. I think so. Bye, Dad. Oh, off we go. And then he was gone. Hey presto, slapped through the floor without leaving a hole. We returned to Yarnfast. My husband was right. Tazco grew to be a fine, strong dwarf, and as the years passed he proved an able help to his mother and to the rulers of the Iron Hills. He spoke often of the great deeds of Gelruka past and present. Boanna would have been very proud of his son. I placed the tome my husband had written in the hidden chamber and sealed the door. I entered that secret room less and less often as the years went on, and in time I stopped going inside at all. Tazco does not remember the journey we took to the Grey Mountains with his father, but every now and then he asks what I think happened to him. He found the lost city of Thafargotho, I tell him, and he smiles. And why should he not? Boanna survived Mordor and Minas Morgul, and defied the edicts of the Witch King himself. I think if anyone could find that lost city, it would be my husband. Now I feel the passing of the years, as Boanna did, and I know my time is nearly ended. I have come into the hidden chamber one last time, and I will write the conclusion of my husband's story in the manner he wanted. My friends defied evil, he said to me, and I do not want them forgotten. I promise to conclude the tale, and now that I have done so I will set this book down upon its table, and sing the song my husband carved upon the walls. I will leave the hidden chamber and seal the door, and then I think I will sit for a time and think of Boanna. If any should find this book, after a year or 2 or 10, Know that Voan and Boanna and their son Tasco were happy with their lot, and despite the difficulties of their time, they knew that even a hopeless night must come to an end, and there would always be good-hearted folk, ready and eager to greet the dawn. Farewell, unknown friend, farewell. I sit for a time, too.
I am pleased to know the end of the tale.
That is all Boanna has to say to us, Wigend. I am pleased to know the end of the tale. Now with the departure of Isildur, our business in Rivendell is concluded. Right, we barely got there. Aragorn will have need of us in Gondor, for evil still lurks within Minas Morgul. Reminded of Isildur's last request, you tell Gandalf that the son of Elendil repented of his words concerning Earnur, and hoped his body might be recovered from Barad-Curon. Gandalf mirthfully raises an eyebrow. It has already been done, Wigand. Aragorn, that is to say King Elessar, commanded that Earnur's body be recovered from Minas Morgul before I began the northward journey to Rivendell. Was Earnur's body still inside the armor of Gothmog? That's what I don't know, really. You asked Gandalf the reason behind Elessar's command. Actually, it was quite simple. Earnur was a king of Gondor, he said to me. He should return to the land he loved, and that loved him. I saw the wisdom of it, and did not gainsay his words. Within the hour, guards of the citadel were dispatched to Barad-Curon to carry out the king's command. They found the watching stones outside the tower abandoned, and passed within without objection. Earnur's body was borne from the city and returned to Minas Tirith. He was laid to rest in the tomb of his fathers on the Silent Street, and at last he knew freedom from the shadows of Mordor and the long reach of Angmar. Gandalf nods thoughtfully and raps his staff upon the ground. Well, I think that is story enough for one journey. I thank you once again for your company on this long road, my friend, and I shall seek for you when I next have cause. Until then, farewell. Should you have need of me before then, look for me at the lodge of our good friend Grimbeorn, whose hospitality cannot be measured. Boom. Okay. Let's see. I think I need to refresh my... both that and this. Okay. Woof. Okay. And that's it, right? That's it for the epilogue? That's a lot of epilogue. It's an intense amount of narrative in that epilogue. There's more? Still? You're kidding me. Back to Grimbeorn's house? Okay. Okay. It really sounded like he'd wrapped it up. I mean, he said, if you ever want me again, but I assumed that meant, like, when the Epic Quest is going to tell me someday again, find Gandalf at the Beorninghouse, but okay. Okay, let's see. Back to the Beorninghouse then. Yeah, he should have been a little bit more importunate, I think. Maybe, you know,
Will you help us?
use the imperative mood. Okay. I guess he did, technically. But he used it conditionally, so. Thought it was optional. Hey there, Beorning guards. Oh. Just because you can't see the doors doesn't mean they're not there. Okay. All right. Closing the book. Yeah.
Yes, I have been expecting you.
Together we have unearthed every secret hidden within the Black Book of Mordor by Voan and Boanna, the long-distant dwarves who authored it. Only one question remains. What is to be done with the book now? I see a number of possibilities, my friend. It was Khil Tailspinner who gave the book into our keeping, and his claim is perhaps the strongest. Voan and Boanna were his thrice great-grandparents, and if the book is to be kept by anyone still living today in Middle-earth, it might do worse than a Zhelruka relative of its authors. But there is another interest to be considered. The Black Book of Mordor contains a great deal of information that would be prized by scholars concerning the history of Gondor and the fate of King Earnur. The book is truly deserving of a place of honor in the House of Lore in Minas Tirith. The scholar Covadil would gratefully accept the donation of it, and in that way Voan's wish for Earnur's struggle to be remembered in the future will truly be fulfilled. There is one other claim to the Black Book. Indeed, the nobility of this claim might be doubted, but I believe it is still worth considering. I speak of the claim of Kharazgar, the Weeping Warrior, who asked that you steal the book and deliver it to him. Yes, I know of your encounter with him at the Old Fort. I chose not to say anything, but I am pleased my trust in you was not misplaced, and we were able to decipher the last of the book's mysteries. Why, then, might we entertain Kharazgar's request? Why, it is for that very reason. We know what the book says, and he does not. He believes it contains the secret to preventing his decline or securing his power, but it does not. It does contain a great deal of confusion and mystery for one who does not know how to read it, and that is to say nothing of the trick with the shard of beacon glass. What might he give up in exchange for a book he thinks will be of use to him, but is not and cannot be? It may be an academic question, but those are always of great interest to me. So I leave the disposition of the Black Book of Mordor to you. Oh, great. Choose who should have it. Deliver it either to Khil Tailspinner in Yarnfast, Covadil in the House of Lore, or Kharazgar at the Old Ford. Darn it. I hate this kind of thing. Okay. So I don't remember the thing with Kharazgar. Like I'm not really inclined to go in that direction because I remember so little of that storyline. Yeah, I remember he was a jerk. I remember we fought him and he murdered a bunch of people. The Weeping Warrior, yeah. Right. Quest at Scarhold is what I remembered. But I don't remember the meeting at the Old Ford. It vaguely rings a bell, but... Right, yeah, I brought the dragons down on the dwarves. Don't see a good reason for him to have it. I think it should go back to the dwarves. And this is why. All of this stuff which quest does Gandalf have here? The Depths of Kizulkala? Is that a side quest? Anyway, I'm going to give it back to the dwarves. Here's why I'm giving it back to the dwarves. I'm giving it back to the dwarves because I need to make their story come true. It's for the preservation of the story. Oh, hey, Rivendell. Good to see you hanging out here. Because you're standing next to northbound Elrond. I gotcha.
The Beorn once made safe the Riverlands.
So they've added all this stuff, right? The Black Book of Mordor contains all of this story that isn't in Appendix A, right? Why isn't it in Appendix A? Well, because it never made it to Minas Tirith. If it gets put in the House of Lore, then it will be known by the lore masters in Minas Tirith. And then Appendix A would be written differently, right? So, but the story that they've told here can remain consistent with Appendix A if that lore does not make it into general circulation in Gondor. So, I'm taking it back. Yeah, I was guessing they would kind of explain that with the Covadil option. But yeah, no, I'm going to take it back. So, how did I get there before? I got there from Skarnhold. Can I get there from here? No, I got there from Holtvius. Yeah. Alright, Holtvius
Tell of great deeds from far away.
to Skarnhold.
Danger is always near.
Also, I have to admit, you know, Skarnhold is pretty cool. I mean, it's where I'm headed anyway next, so. Whew. Okay. So in short, the epilogue has taken me 2 more hours. Hey there, Durin. Almost. I'll be right back.
What do you need?
Going to yarn fast, and I'll be just back, Durin. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Now let's see, from here I go this way and I don't fall into the hole. And then I go upstairs. Where's the upstairs? No, not that way. I go this way? I can't remember. Nah, it's the other way, of course. Oh yeah, there's the ramp. Okay, I go up the ramp, and then I go back around the corner. Okay. This is why I can never remember which branch it's down, because it's not. It's like right over the intersection. Okay. Where's Khil? There you are. Okay, Khil, tail spinner. Besides, I also kind of feel like donating it to Gondor would be kind of like slightly Elgin marbles of me. You know what I mean? Like,
Hell, come back.
it doesn't belong to Gondor.
Did you solve the mystery?
Totally did. Did Gandalf have any ideas? For a number of hours, you describe what you learned from the secret writing in the Black Book, and conclude at last that your need for the tome has ended. You're giving it back to me. Well, I thank you for this. It seems that it properly belongs here in the chamber Voen built, and with your assurance that it is not truly a tome of evil, I should think it would be quite safe to keep it here. Like my thrice-great-grandmother Boanna, I too have found the aura of this hidden chamber to be one of peace and comfort. I am quite pleased to know more of these relatives of mine, who once were mere names, but now are much more than that, and to think my thrice-great-grandfather Voen defied the Witch King himself, and not only that, but he may have at last ended his days in the halls of Thafar Gothol itself. Now that is a tale, Wigend. That is a tale indeed. Thank you for upholding your end of the bargain and delivering the Black Book back into my keeping, where it belongs. You will be my friend for always. Hooray! And so ends the Black Book of Mordor. Boom. Done. Whew. Okay. Yep, that was the right thing to do. That was totally the right thing to do. All right. Well, let's go to Prince Durin and take a break. Surely this is a good pausing point if ever there was. So I have achieved my preliminary goal of I'm going to fall into that chasm again. I've achieved my preliminary goal of doing the entire Minas Morgul plotline, including the entire and deceptively long ending. Where's the door out? Hello? Is there like a way to escape this or something? Do I just go straight? Where's the door? Hang on. Have I ever left Yardfest? It's not this way, is it? No, where is it? I'm lost. I don't like that. I've never liked this place. I think we cannot get out. Exactly. Okay. Where's the exit? Because didn't I come from that direction? When I came in the door, I came from that direction, right? Don't we have to go back by way of Holtby's? It's straight here? This way? Head west. Okay, we'll head west. Fine. Okay. They're similar looking. That's the wrong crevice I was falling down. Okay. Gotcha. Totally on board now. No, that's the door. Okay. Get me out of this place. Okay. Hooray! Look. Oh, breathe the sweet free air. And now, back to my friend the stable master. Back to... Where is it? Back to Skarhald. Okay. And here indeed is my friend Durin. He's gone. Oh, he's back. Okay. All right. Here is my friend Durin. And when we return, I will reunite with my friend Durin, and we will continue on to the next whole section of the epic quest, the next volume, right, of the epic quest line, as I'm now finished with the Black Book of Mordor after 2-3 years of marathons doing that. So that's kind of amazing. Yeah, so we'll start Chapter 1 and see if we can get through it. Awesome. Okay. We'll see how far we can go. See, what I would like to do is get through Azanul Bazaar today, because I know that's coming. Then next year, finish Gundabad. And then that would bring me to Song of Waves and Wind at last. Back down to Umbar and such. Yeah. Alright. Alright, cool. We're getting there. We're getting there. We can indeed have a celebratory giveaway. So I want to do another moot giveaway. This is a ticket to the Signum Regional Moot of your choice. So let's do another drawing. We'll start the drawing now. People can enter the drawing while we have our break. I'm going to stop the stream, and I'll be back in like 10-15 minutes, and we will resume with Prince Durin for the the latter portion of our marathon here today. All right, very good. So I will see you guys back again in a few minutes.